Okay, welcome everyone to our 10 at 10 for 10 training today. We appreciate all of you that are joining us live, and we appreciate all of you that will be watching us on the recorded version of this that we put out onto YouTube. All right, so I put some interesting videos in front of our team here before starting this training today. And I kind of want to bring things down to a point here. So, but before I do that, I want to ask a question I want to put a question out to all of you and see what your response might be to this. I want to get your opinion, okay? When we look at humanity, overall, would you say that humanity is happy or not? What would you guys say overall? We got 8 billion of us running around. Overall, happy or not as of today?
Most
Unhappy.
people are.
So Hunter says most people are. Matt says not. Okay.
I don't think they are.
Cecil says you don't think they are. Okay.
I'd say they're searching.
Searching. That's from Susie. Okay. All right. All right.
Let's say they want to be happy.
Okay. They want to be happy. Okay.
Not
Great.
happy.
What's that?
Not happy.
Tim says not happy. All right. So let's take Hunter says most are probably happy, right, Hunter?
Actually, that was, I think, Steve who said that. I said that most of them are unhappy.
Oh, unhappy. Was that you, Steve, that said you think they're mostly happy?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So it looks like we have some disagreement here. Tell us your position. We got 8 billion of us running around. Are 8 billion generally happy? You look at it that way. They're generally happy right now.
Are you talking to me?
Was it you that took the position of you think most people are happy at this stage? Maybe I was mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So
Hey, Ace.
Yeah, go
Ace,
ahead.
it's Greg.
Hey,
It's Greg. I responded with happy only because I'm an optimist.
Okay. All right. That was you, Greg, not Steve. Okay. Sorry. I get little flashes. I can't always tell who's speaking. So it was Greg that said that, not Steve. Okay. So go ahead. Tell us from your optimistic point of view, 8 billion of us running around. Is it just coming out of pure optimism, or is it you have some weight of evidence that you would like to point out?
Well, down here in South Carolina, everyone is so friendly that if their lives were so miserable, I don't think they'd be as friendly. Now, granted, there are millions and probably billions of exceptions, people that are unhappy, but I would like to think that most people are generally happy. Do most people need supplements to their income? Absolutely. But I think most people are happy.
I appreciate that. Okay, so what if we went to the point of saying that I guess it really does depend on each individual, right? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to certain choices each individual is making, whether they're experiencing some form of happiness or not, because the conditions aren't always what make a person happy or not happy, right? It's mostly how we perceive ourselves within those conditions that I think is what determines that. So, but can we agree that there's a lot of room to improve on the happiness of mankind? Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
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 Because we can really get into a deep debate on why people would say overall they're not happy or when they're happy. That could be a long debate. But there's definitely room for improvement, lots of room for improvement, not just a little bit of room for improvement. And so, what could be the unifying factor that would really contribute towards mankind being happier? Or can we even go back to our past and look at certain parts of our past and go, we were happier then than we are now? Can we do that?
I think so,
Okay. And who said that?
Kathleen.
Kathleen. And so Kathleen, what time would you refer to that was a happier time for
When
mankind?
I was a kid, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and things, I did not know a lot of things that were going on in the world, but sometimes I could see that unhappiness in my parents' face. But I just kind of thought maybe, oh well, they're just being a grouch or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But as I grew older and start to uh, go out into the world and mixing with people and people everywhere, people of all races, religion, whatever, I found that a lot of people seem to be unhappy, but they just didn't know what to do about it. Some
Yeah.
of them didn't. Some of them didn't know.
Yeah.
And
In fact, wouldn't you agree that for a lot of people, the idea of happiness is elusive to a lot of people? Like
yes,
they'd
yes.
like to be happy, but how do you get there? You know, what's the
How do you
path?
get there?
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. So I've given this idea a lot of thought for many years, you know, because I think I'm kind of a big picture guy. I'm kind of the guy that sits there and is interested in things like philosophy, you know, and like ideas and stuff like that. So, and I believe we have a lot of opportunity to go towards happiness, but I don't think we're going to find it in the conflict per se. I think we're going to find happiness in things that unify us, such as, you know, love, right? Would you guys agree that as a unifying force, love is a good starting point, right? And
I
there's
agree.
Words.
and a lot of people have talked about that. You know, there's been songs written about it. And you know, and so you know, even though there's that, we haven't quite come together, and so we got to scratch your head and ask why. If we have this idea that we just got to put more energy into love, right? But it turns out that there is an ongoing situation that hopefully will come to an end, but it's been ongoing for a long time. Picture this. Imagine, you know, spending time out at a nice river or a lake, you know, kind of a calm river or lake. And you go out into the water, you're enjoying being in the water, okay? And it's refreshing to be in the water. But then as you just, you know, come out of the water, you look down at your legs, and what do you notice? There's all these leeches all over your legs and all over your feet. How do you feel looking at those leeches? How would that make you guys feel? Walking out of the water, and then you've just been attacked by a bunch
Not good.
of leeches, right?
Panic.
I would be frightened.
Freaked
Or
out.
bad.
And what are leeches? What are they? You know,
Bloodsuckers.
they're bloodsuckers, right? And you know, some people might refer to them as
Bloodsucker.
as a parasite, right?
Right.
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 Yeah, and you're the host. and they're having a meal on you. So, you know, what happens is that whenever there's too much of something that's, you know, parasitical happening, that can be very disturbing. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
When you look out into the
Absolutely.
world, are you guys able to spot the parasites? I mean, for me, I clearly see them, but how about you guys? Do you see the parasites out there?
Yes,
Yeah. Do
I
you,
we
see
have
No,
some.
yeah.
we have parasites in places unbelievable that you wouldn't think would be there.
Now, when I'm saying parasites, I'm not. I'm talking kind of uh, allegorically. I'm not specifically referring to the bugs or the little creatures that might be, in us or
Hey,
crawling on us or whatever.
Ace,
Yo,
Ace.
About
Matt.
mixture.
Uh, what I see as a parasite is in my life is anybody that's extremely negative. It to me is a parasite because they're trying to suck my happiness out of me
Yeah.
just by being around them.
Okay. There you go. So negativity, it can be definitely parasitical. Okay. I can totally agree with that. And that can happen even in a small family unit, right? So
Yes.
it
Absolutely.
can happen right down at the very ground level of society. But go up a little higher to the bigger picture. I want you to take a look at the structure of this is called the geopolitical structure of the world. Do you see anything parasitical about that?
Many politicians.
We got banks, we got certain kinds of governments, right? Um, certain kinds of people that think that they have authority, right? That kind of thing. And what people might call corruption or abuse of power, or stepping on individual freedom, this kind of thing. Does this resonate?
Absolutely, yes.
And
Very
so,
much so.
so
It's happening now.
if we're dealing
yes,
if we're dealing with that kind of stuff, can that actually be make it more challenging to find that happy space? Can it be more challenging?
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
If we could shed if we could shed those structures that are parasitical, would mankind be happier?
I believe
Absolutely.
they would.
Yes.
yes,
Okay. You could look at one angle of the creation of cryptocurrency as, uh, a focal point to, deal with one of those structures. Okay. And it comes down to the nature of money creation. Okay. And yesterday we watched some videos yesterday that was like eye opening, right? For those of you that
Yeah.
were here. And so, um, we can't just fully accept the world as is without knowing that we have some kind of power to do something about that. We watched a little clip about Bug's life. What I liked about that particular clip is, by comparison, that little tiny ant sure looks small compared to that big old grasshopper, right? But
Right.
at
Right.
first appearance. But when ants work together, amazing things happen, right? Even in real life, but not just in a cartoon. But have you
Right.
ever seen how ants work together and grab things much larger than themselves and move them around? It could be amazing. So, um, but in that clip that we watched about Bug's life, um, basically the ants had enough. They were like they're fed up with the grasshoppers, stealing all their food and basically being tyrants, over them, and they united, and the grasshoppers went away. That's kind of how that happy ending of that story goes, right?
Right.
So when we look at cryptocurrency, the idea of not having to deal with a third party called a bank That is interesting because you have something called a trustless, transparent, decentralized system in place of a you know um, like a bank. Okay. Um, the thing about banks, do you think all of their fees are fair? Like what they charge you when you go to the ATM, to put your card in and take your card out, and how much you're limited to, how much you can pull out anytime, and then the fee on top of that. How many are happy to pay that every time?
I am not happy at all.
You're not happy
No.
about that? Does it seem high to
Nope.
you for
Yes.
what's happening? I mean, a little and what? And then what if the bank says, we don't really like this particular transaction that you're doing from here to there, and so we're going to put a hold on that transaction. Has anybody ever experienced that?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
a month or two ago,
How'd that make you feel?
I was really upset because I was trying to purchase some cryptocurrency,
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
and they said, "Oh no, we don't do business. We don't do a cryptocurrency.
Right. And then
Just
they even put restrictions on what you think you should be able to buy with your money, right? That's
right."
supposed to be in your bank account.
A-
So
Ace,
go ahead, Matt.
I've had an experience where I tried to transfer money from my bank here to my bank in Costa Rica,
Okay.
and the bank lost the money.
Oh my God.
And they told me that they didn't know where it was, and they couldn't provide me with the data routing numbers to prove, because they have to send it to New York, to a bank in New York, and they're the ones that are supposed to send it to a foreign country. Yet they couldn't provide me any data to show where it went.
Do you think
And
some
I
level of
had to
corruption was
threaten them.
involved there? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I had to
Okay.
threaten them, and they finally gave me my money back, even though they never admitted to what had happened. But the teller stole the money, is what probably happened.
Can you guys picture a future where banks just don't exist? Can you picture a future like that?
I wish for it.
Yes.
I wish for that. Yes,
Yeah.
but
What
Absolutely.
what if each one of us was our own bank, and we had our bank handy all the time? You know what I'm saying? And we were the only one
Bank
to the keys to the vault. You know what I'm saying?
banks are on the way out,
Yeah,
and
I'm kind of pointing out the obvious, right?
Hey,
well, Ace, in El Salvador, they've did away with their own currency, and they've converted it over to Bitcoin.
Yeah,
No
that
more El Salvadoran money, strictly dealing in Bitcoin.
wow. When did that happen?
Within months ago,
Wow.
when the new president
I
took
heard
over.
that they were embracing Bitcoin, but I never heard that they
Yes,
basically said run the economy on Bitcoin. The whole country is
Hugh
running on.
Kelly. Hugh Kelly is the president there. My wife's from Costa Rica, so she's very familiar with Central
Wow.
America. And
Wow.
Costa Rica is going to do similar, because the US dollar crashed below the Kelowna far enough. It was the worst it's been in 25 years that we've been going there. That's a
Wow.
bad sign.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. You know, um, we've had just one crisis after another. We can remember 2008, right? It was a pretty big
Right.
one, you know, but it's just been just ever since then, it's just been a series of like crazy stuff going on. And then they bring this new terminology. Have you guys ever heard of the terminology quantitative easing?
Yes.
Isn't that just basically inflating the money supply by extraordinary means?
Right.
You know, print trillions when normally they were dealing in billions. Now, trillions the new thing, right?
Yeah.
right.
And what does that do to the purchasing power of your dollar, right? And so, these are concerns, and so But overall, I'm just saying that we're only picking on a couple of little points here, but we could go all day talking about many points of interest when it comes to the structures that basically are parasitical in nature, right? That they actually, if you really look closely at them, they're just only self-serving, and they pretend to care about the people, but but when you look at the behavior, it's clearly that they're just sucking the lifeblood out of the public, or out of the people, and pretending like they care, right? So I think we're going to be witnessing a world of change here. I think 2024 is going to be one of those years where we're going to see a lot of change happening. Pool funding is part of that. Okay. Pool funding is basically saying, look, we can clearly see where the money's going. It's going up here, and it's not raining back down. It's just sitting on computer screens up here in the cloud, and where people need that money to take it to the gas station. They need that money to take it to the grocery store. They need that money, for goodness sake, to pay their rent. You know what I'm saying? They need that money in the economy, right? Not all up here. What if all the money was up here and nothing was left down here in the economy? How would that go? Would that even work? Probably not, right?
No.
So pool
No.
funding has come up with a way to pull money out without skill. Okay. I mean, I've tried becoming a trader. I have tried since I was in my early 30s. I really got into it in my early 30s. I was interested in it in my late 20s. I'm over 50 now. I'm approaching 60, and I've done so many things when it comes to trading, and I just feel like I keep paying for my education. Because that's how I feel about trading. I mean, it is super complicated to be a consistent winner in when it becomes trading. And my hat's off to anyone that actually is that good. But there are so few people that fall in that category of being that good that you can't even say they're making a big dent in taking any money and bringing it back into the economy. So people that would take profits and pull it back in and push it back in the economy, there's so few of them. So the answer is not the trader, okay? Which is pretty much, if you look at all the other things related to opportunities in the crypto space, you could consider pool funding as an opportunity in the crypto space. You could say that, out of all those different opportunities, most of them are trying to get money from the people and put it back up into the market, and they're actually accelerating the problem that we actually want to address. Let me just share my screen real quick. Okay. This is our solution. Since most opportunities take money from the people and send it to the market, we don't want to be like most opportunities. We're very different. Pool funding takes money from the market and showers the people with funds they don't have to pay back. And ultimately, if you see the word guarantee, if you look at your transaction history in your account area of your website, and it says money came from the guarantee, most certainly that was because I had to first sell whatever PFP coin that I had, and I've got up to 1 million coins to work with, right? I had to sell some of it in order to acquire the USDT to send to you. Okay, so that definitely was moving money out of the market over to the people. Okay. In addition to that, when it comes to unity, guys, and bringing humanity towards a greater, opportunity towards happiness. Make sure I'm in the right one here. Change that to pool funding, and let's go to right down here. You'll see this little poster right here. It talks about it's all about love, gratitude, and unity. If everybody you met in the world, if this was their core, imagine 8 billion people and this was the core of 8 billion people. What would the world be like if it was about love, gratitude, and unity? What would the world be like, guys?
Be a lot better.
Magnificent.
I think we'd be happier. It'd be an improvement on what we have now, right?
It'd be like heaven.
And then you have this here. Okay, you have and I love this allegory of the long spoon. But please watch this video right here. Maybe watch it a number of times. So I want you guys to understand this from really the higher point of view, because I think now is the time for us to work towards more of a unity consciousness. And I don't think we have to go out there and be against politicians or against the banks or against any other thing we might consider like a parasite on society. We don't have to go against as much as we have to just build a better way forward. Does that make sense? So we don't have to fight them. We just have to do better at what we're building. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
when we share full funding with other people, understand that you're bringing them into something much larger than just helping people have a little extra money so they can buy a car or whatever, pay off some debt. It goes way beyond that. Because ultimately, once this thing hits that nexus point, and I'm hoping that will happen sooner than later, once we hit the nexus point where everything is like moving like clockwork, the way it's designed to be within pool funding, then we're going to grow so fast that we're I can visualize 1 billion people in pool funding.
Wow.
I can see it. Imagine 1 billion people in pool funding. What would that be like? A unified body, and let's say that we infected that entire unified body with love, gratitude, and unity, and that was a common thread within the whole body. What kind of a power would that be in the world of making it better for the rest of humanity? Would it be good? And if abundance
Awesome.
and prosperity was like the side effect, okay, that would be great too, right? So
Yep.
consider the times that you're in. Open your eyes to what's happening right now. There are some interesting things happening right now. And be open to the idea of unification, and the idea that we can come together on some common ground that makes sense. Sure, there's 1,000 things that can divide us, but can't we just set that aside? Can't we set aside all the reasons that might divide us and realize that in order for us to engage these other powers, that they have some strength, just like the grasshoppers, they showed some strength in that Bugs Life movie, right? They have some strength, but their strength really depends on our fear of them. Really, that's what it depends on. And when we come together and realize there's no need to fear them, and just understand that they're going to keep trying to do what they're going to keep trying to do, but we don't have to go along with it. We can unite and move. Society can move in a different direction based on what the overall group of people want it to be. And let's be basically holding up the flag as far as like where we want to go, and let things like love and gratitude and unity be our banners that we run with. And that when people are invited into pool funding, yes, you can access money that you don't have to pay back, funding you don't have to pay back. That's just kind of like the hook to get them in. But once they get in, we want them to understand this is so much bigger than that. That they get to be part of a community. a community where we actually like each other and we treat each other well. That's the kind of community other people want to be other people want to be a part of. They want to be a part of something where people like each other, they work with each other, there's unification, okay, and that we're all trying to just help each other, right? And that we're part of the same pool. We see ourselves unified in a pool, right? And maybe even call it a pool party, and we're having a good time. So let this kind of resonate with you over the next day or two, and see if that sits well with you guys. I'm hoping it will. I believe in what we're doing on so many levels, and I'm very dedicated to it. And I hope you can all see how this is so much more to me than just like an opportunity to make some money. That's just like the kindergarten level of understanding what we're doing here. Okay, this is bigger than that. All right. Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for coming out to our 10 at 10 for 10 training today. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording now.